Hi guys, I'm here in Auckland City, and as you know, in New Zealand, we're driving right-hand drive. Unlike in the Philippines or in the US, we're driving on the left-hand drive. So I'm driving on the other side of the street. I'm learning to drive the New Zealand KIWI way, and while driving and learning at the same time, I'll be listening to the Kiwi accent, so I know the accent that they speak in this country, which is very beautiful. The Kiwi accent is quite unique international English. So just stay with me and enjoy the view while I learn to drive on the other side of the road. And this is a right-hand drive, and listening to the Kiwi New Zealand accent. Okay.
Trained ICU nurses. Well, they haven't got enough of them either. If you listen to the nurses, and I think the message out of all this is, if you're don't fall sick with anything other than COVID, because the chances of you getting treatment and the treatment that you deserve for cancer and the like will probably be put to the back of the queue, and that begs the question then. If you turn up to a hospital unvaccinated, and let's face it, only 3% of those who have been hospitalised in this latest outbreak have been vaccinated, so the vast majority are unvaccinated people. Are they to get ahead of the queue than with somebody that turns up, say, with a heart attack, fully jabbed and COVID tested negative? Are they then going to be put at the back of the queue that behind somebody that hasn't taken the responsibility to become vaccinated?
Yeah. Yes, it is certainly going to be a fascinating period pre-Christmas, I reckon.
Or even, I think, immediately post-Christmas, say.
Yeah, I mean, probably true.
If you listen to, what the, mind you, modelers tend to be terribly alarmist. But if you listen to some of the modelers, as I have done this morning, I mean, they're predicting doomsday, basically.
Yeah. Crazy times. Barry, thank you very much for the update, mate. You have a nice day.
You too, guys. Cheers.
Bye now. Bye. Cheers. 20 past 12. News Talk ZB. Scarlett Swetanovich joins us right after this.
Sunny Bill Williams here. If you've ever wondered who I am and what matters to me, I am sharing my story.
You can't stop the sun from shining. The Sunny Bill Williams story. Out now.
Is your phone system built for the future or stuck in the dark ages? Cordia offers a range of flexible and reliable cloud phone solutions and are the experts at delivering critical voice solutions for New Zealand businesses. And with free calling for the first 6 months, it's never been a better time to get your phone system out of the cupboard and into the cloud. Call us on 0800 567 342 or visit us online at cordia.co.nz. T's and C's apply.
When your stock seems competing, the quality starts to drop. Change to a quality stock food swap, CJ Swap. Swap CJ Swap.
Kiwis are winning epic prizes with the Monopoly game at Macca's, like Zara and Lucas and even Karen.
Can I speak to the manager? I didn't win.
Have you tried scanning?
I won!
Feel and scan to win at Macca's today. Ends November 9. For full terms, visit mcdonalds.co.nz.
You got mud, you got mold. Everything around the house looks a little too old. Remove it all, wet and forget.
Wet and Forget, 100% Kiwi made and trusted for over 25 years. Now with a host of smart, easy to use products to make maintenance at your place a breeze. For a Wet and Forget store near you or to order online, go to wetandforget.co.nz or 0800 30 3000.
With a crisp perspective, Saturday morning with Jack Tame is a refreshing and entertaining start to your weekend. Thanks to Drake Maddox. From news and sport to tech and movie reviews, plus all the big names, there's no better way to kick off your Saturday. For over 50 years, Drake Maddox has become one of New Zealand's most respected providers of healthcare professionals and support services, with extensive experience in home and community care. Saturday morning with Jack Tame, 9 till noon, thanks to Drake Maddox. Only on News Talk ZB.
New Zealanders are an adventurous lot, known for exploring new horizons, pushing the limit, travelling abroad. Or, at least we used to. We might not be able to travel very far, but the All Blacks are. Talk ZB will bring them to you. Listen to live commentary as our men in black take on the United States, Wales, Italy, Ireland, and France.
Oh, that's brilliant All Blacks rugby!
The All Blacks End of Year Tour, live and exclusive on News Talk ZB, your home of sport.
News Talk ZB, it's 22 minutes past 12. Let's head around the country. Scarlett Swetanovich, our afternoon news director, is with us. Hi, Scarlett.
Good afternoon.
So tell us about this, Scarlett. 2 sex workers have been arrested at a Blenheim motel after travelling from Auckland.
Yeah, so apparently they travelled from Auckland without an exemption. The pair also failed to produce a negative COVID-19 test before departing. Of course, Auckland remains at alert level 3. And a source has told our newsroom that police were alerted that the women were in Blenheim on Tuesday, and they've now been charged with failing to comply with the current health order and will appear in the Blenheim District Court today. The source does say that the women have also refused to provide any details about their movements or who they've been in contact with since leaving Auckland.
Surprised? How did they get out? That's what James knows. How did they manage to...
Yeah, that's what we were wondering as well. So, not sure at this stage how they managed to do that.
Did you say that they were applying for an essential workers certification? Is that what you said?
I didn't say that, but they could potentially have done that.
Essential workers. That's interesting. All right, let's go on to something a bit more refined. The Royal New Zealand Ballet's initially cancelled season of A Midsummer Night's Dream is now able to go ahead in the capital.
Well, it's quite nice to not talk about something that has been cancelled for a change, at least at this stage. So this comes as changes have been made to Wellington's Opera House to ensure that alert level 2 restrictions are followed. So what they've done, they've removed entire rows of seats, they've strictly limited numbers, and seating will be in household groups with no bar service. And Royal New Zealand Ballet Executive Director Lester McGrath says extra shows will mean anyone who already has a ticket will be able to go despite the reduced capacity, and anyone that doesn't have a ticket yet will have to go on a wait list. So that season due to start on October 28th.
Very nice. Right, and the Auckland COVID outbreak just keeps going on, and apparently could become even harder to control.
It sure does just keep going on. So fears that it could become a lot worse before it becomes better. Government ruling out putting the region back in level 4 despite a warning of exponential growth in case numbers expected in coming weeks. And Otago University infectious diseases expert David Murdoch says the Delta outbreak is proving incredibly hard to control. It's only going to get harder. He says we need to focus on increasing vaccination across the community and of course preparing to have more people in hospital. And Auckland University modeller Dion O'Neill says the government should also put more stipulations on the rules for picnics and other gatherings in Auckland. So he's saying other countries put restrictions like limiting the number of bubbles you can mix with each week, because at this stage you can only see one bubble at a time, but there's no cap on just how many bubbles you can actually see. And O'Neill says the government could also require people to be fully vaccinated before being allowed to attend those kinds of gatherings as well.
So even a picnic?
Even a picnic, exactly.
Right.
Anywhere where you're mixing with another bubble.
Yeah. Interesting times. It is. Yeah, really crazy times. Scarlett, now you'll be just exhausted trying to manage all the staff and everything at this COVID time as well. I mean, it's pretty hard yards for you, isn't it?
Yeah, hard yards for lots of people, but there's definitely lots going on at the moment behind the scenes as well. And yeah, the news cycle at the moment is rather exhausting.
What would you actually
lots of
talk
people
about
a lot worse than me.
when we've got the vaccinations up and COVID hopefully is managed in a year or so, I wonder what you'll talk about.
Oh my gosh, we sometimes talk about the days of before COVID and the things that used to be the big news, and we'd absolutely love for those days right now, that's for sure.
Yeah. I know what we'd talk about. Climate change. Climate change, yeah, probably. Oh, good on you, James. And I'll lead it. What a down buzz. Scarlett, have a great afternoon.
You too, thank you.
Yeah, bye. 28 past 12, News Talk ZB headlines with Raylene next.
My pile of laundry started a flash at Liquid Laundromat.
It's springtime at Liquid Laundromat. Cue the birds, which makes it the perfect time to wash and dry your mink blankets, so you can have them packed away and ready for next winter in no time. Wash or dry from $4 in our super fast commercial washers and dryers, saving you time and money. Visit our website to find your nearest location. Open 7 days, convenient hours. Happy washing and drying at Liquid Laundromat. Since 2008, Jennian and the Heart Foundation have built 75 lottery homes to raise much-needed funds. Together, we've helped fund vital heart research with the aim of keeping Kiwi families together. The more money we can raise through regular lotteries, the more we can do. And just by buying a ticket, you can help too. We're proud to own Jennian Home.
If you deal with customers every day, you need any advantage you can get. Activator is the Kiwi company that lets you be EFT positive with EFTPOS, point of sale and payment solutions all from the one place. And that saves you money. Remember, your customer's payment experience can have a huge bearing on how they view your business. So be EFT positive. Talk to Activator, the EFTPOS people today. ACTIVATA, activator.co.nz.
All your Halloween costumes, props and decorations, even your everyday essentials are online at Look Sharp Store. Order before midday and click and collect your order the same day, 7 days a week. Shop online at looksharpstore.co.nz.
Tell your allergies to buzz off with fast 24-hour relief from Razine, New Zealand's #1 selling antihistamine tablet. Razine. Read the label and use as directed. If symptoms persist, see your pharmacist. Mylan, New Zealand.
Just when men thought life couldn't get any better, Intenza introduced Herbal Ignite for Men Max, the advanced version currently being enjoyed by many. Herbal Ignite for Men Max for maximum stamina, maximum libido, and maximum performance. Live life to the max. Order at herbalignite.com or 0800 446639 and get 3 bottles for the price of 2. Read the label and take as directed. Intenza Auckland.
News Talk ZB headlines.
With Blue Bubble taxis still operating whatever the alert level, the Health Ministry's revealed preparations are being made to cope with rising Delta case numbers, with worst-case modelling predicting Auckland and Northland could get more than 5,000 cases a week. Most cases would be expected to convalesce at home, but it's expected unvaccinated patients are more likely to need hospitalisation. Australia has had its worst day of the pandemic, with almost 2,300 new cases and 11 deaths in Victoria. New South Wales has more than 400 new cases and 6 deaths. The government's approved 300,000 COVID-19 rapid antigen tests for selected businesses, which are less accurate but very quick. More than 2,500 people have signed a petition asking for a COVID border between the North and South Islands to buy time while South Islanders increase their vaccination protection. 2 people have been freed from a car crash which has completely blocked State Highway 1 in Ashburton. Council release images of pollution to show why filthy building sites shut down. See more at NZ Herald Premium. Now back to Simon Barnett and James Daniels.
On this day in 1977, Bowie released his 12th studio album, Heroes, the second installment of his Berlin trilogy with Brian Eno. Well, yeah, he also had the previous album, Low, which was released earlier that year, and then this one featured the guitarist Robert Fripp. The album was later named NME, Album of the Year.
as well as all the other normal things like food, art, dog trails, which you love, Jamie, wood shopping, rides and vintage machinery. Now, I've been to this show quite a few times and it is an absolute banger, so very disappointing there. One thing that is still going ahead though is the 10th running of the National Livestock Young Auctioneers Competition, sponsored by Heartland Bank, on Tuesday the 2nd of November at Canterbury Park. So it's going to be held alongside the annual Prime Beef competition. So level 2 restrictions mean they can have 100 spectators at the sale yards. Competitors get to sell 3 lots, which might be a single animal or pairs, and the winner receives the New Zealand Stock and Station Agents Association Cup, the Dennis Hazlitt Medal, and the opportunity to represent New Zealand, COVID willing, at the Royal Sydney Show. And of course that trip is sponsored by Heartland Bank. It is a great competition. A friend of mine won it, I think, in its 2nd year, so good luck to everyone competing in that, and congrats to the organisers for still managing to get that event going ahead when so many are being cancelled. That is rural news. Here's sport.
Sport with AFCO, Kiwi to the bone since 1904.
In sport, as you've already stolen my sandwich for, Ma'a Nonu is making a surprise return to provincial rugby. The 39-year-old All Black Centurion's been named on the Ngāti Porou East Coast Reserves bench for Saturday's Heartland Championship match against Bulla in Ruatoria. He's been named on a reserves bench which features a handful of Hurricanes alumni, including Nonu's former teammates Jose Gia and Faifili Lavabe. Nonu's listed as a returning New Zealand player, having most recently played for Toulon in France and San Diego in America's Major League Rugby competition. And new coach Jitka Klimkova has named 6 fresh faces in her first football firm squad to take on Olympic champions Canada later this month. The 22-strong squad includes debutantes Amelia Abbott, Anila Jensen, Ava Collins, Jackie Ham, Sam Taparu and Talia Herman-Watt. Centurion Rosie White has been named after missing the Tokyo Olympics due to illness. That is your sport, Jamie.
You ditched the story with all the hard names in it. Be honest, you did.
I was just thinking you nailed that, Ro.
Thank you.
Well,
No, she bailed out. She bailed out on the hard
Some
fought.
loser.
That's what. Shall I talk about my winning margin over you two? Look,
You might as well. You've been dying to all.
No, I haven't. But it was disappointing at the very end of the race for you two to come running in hand.
Hey, that's what teamwork is all about, Jamie.
No,
Girl
it's not.
power.
Life's a competition.
No one left
It's like
behind.
not counting your
Can I
score
just say-
on primary school netball.
Nowhere in any of the stuff that is out there on the internet about this mile for mental well-being, nowhere, Jamie Mackay, did it say, this is a race, you must compete to the death against your workmates and make them suffer. It just says, just do a mile for mental well-being, post a photo up on social media and enjoy getting out there. Well, we enjoyed getting out there and we proved a point by running in that last straight behind you. I might add, I will give you that, you are fitter than the both of us, finishing in hand. But hey, look, the best part about it for me and Tess was that you dropped us off at Emerson's afterwards, gave us $20 and said, see you tomorrow. So good on you.
It was sort of like Dad giving the kids money for an ice
Totally
cream.
were.
Rightio, well, you did well, the pair of you, I must admit. All right, we're going to take a break. Poor old Chris Russell, he left Sydney 4 or 5 months ago. He's been travelling around the country in an anti-clockwise direction. He's currently stuck in South Australia trying to get back to his Sydney base. He's up next.
So they can manage nationwide jobs like vehicle wrapping for whole fleets, store fit-outs, exhibitions and more. Whether you're big or small or somewhere in between, the team at Speedy Signs can help. And they can manage the entire process through one point of contact. Artwork, installation and project management, so you can get on with other important things. Let them help you grow your business faster. Call 0800 SPEEDY or visit speedysigns.co.nz.
HouseMe provide Kiwis with affordable tiny homes and cabins that suit their needs. Small and cost-effective, they're beautifully designed, practical and very livable. They have a range of 1 and 2 bedroom options starting from only $49,500, including GST. From accommodation for farm workers to a sleep out for family members, HouseMe has you covered. Call 0800 HouseMe or head to houseme.co.nz to check out their range.
See more news. See more sport. See more world, business, politics, food, well-being, travel, technology and entertainment. There's more to Herald Premium than meets the eye. Open up a a world of information and insight by subscribing to the New Zealand Herald's premium content from just $1.99 a week. T&Cs apply and prices may vary. Subscribe to see more with Herald Premium. Visit nzherald.co.nz/subscribe.
G'day, I'm not Chris, but I am from Manukau Toyota Group. Let's talk about Alert Level 3. You can still buy a car, they're all on our website. You can still test drive a car, we'll leave it at the gate for you. You can still finance a car with a personalised rate just for you. And you can still get your car serviced. We'll sanitise it on the way in and on the way out to keep everyone safe. One thing though, unfortunately no customers are allowed in our stores or on our yards, so it's business, just not quite as usual, not yet. Find out all about it at manukautoyotagroup.co.nz. Manukau Toyota Group, 100% New Zealand owned in Manukau, Botany, Papakura and Pukekohe.
Looking for a place to call home? OneRoof.co.nz makes your search simple. From thousands of listings right across the country, you'll find what's for sale and what it's worth. One Roof, be property prepared. Download the app today.
The Country on Gold with Jamie Mackay. Thanks to Norwood. Visit norwood.co.nz to find your local dealership.
Sydney-based when he finally gets home. Chris Russell. Chris, you're in South Australia. You're trying to get home. Freedom Day was Monday in New South Wales. Is that going to make your flight a bit easier?
Well, not really, because at the moment Freedom Day applies to Sydney, Wollongong, up to Newcastle and out to the Blue Mountains, but there's no travel allowed between the country, either way, between the country and Sydney, because they're trying to keep the areas in the country which still have lower vaccination rates immune from getting any more infections. So we're stuck here in South Australia, in southeastern South Australia, which is a lovely place to be stuck, I might add, but we can't travel across New South Wales and into Sydney. So theoretically, once we hit 80% in New South Wales, then we will be allowed to do that. But I see the new Premier, Terence Hay, is now sort of hauling back on that a little bit, saying, well, we don't want to do that, and some of these country areas are still a bit lagging behind. We want to wait till they catch up. So we could be here for a couple more weeks yet, but not a bad place to be, though. South Australia is a very enjoyable place at this time of the year, Jamie.
And it's COVID-free. Look, yet another record for lamb prices, and sheep farmers on both sides of the Tasman are going to have a good year.
Well, you would. I mean, the two things that surprised me about this, I've been reporting each week. We've been breaking the record for heavy lambs, and we got up to $399 this week for 45 kilo lambs. The other thing that surprised me, though, is that new season lambs and the last remaining heavy lambs are all selling for about the same money, around $226 average. The record, of course, is $400, but that's for a top pen of 77 Suffolk lambs weighing 45 kilos. But you know, if you actually look at the new season's lambs, they're bringing $226. That's a lot of money for a little baby lamb, Jamie.
Yeah, great money. What's the wool market though? That's not faring as well, is it?
The wool market isn't faring as well. I was part of a very interesting discussion at my think tank that I'm a member of on last Monday, just talking about how the Chinese, of course, have run out of electricity. They're even using metallurgical coal, which they have to pay $400 a tonne for firing up power stations in China to try and keep their power up. But needless to say, 40% of the scows are now shut down, and there's a lot of discussion at the moment just on the side about whether we should be building more scows in Australia. But the general thought is that eventually, when the power prices come down and coal becomes available, we will still be uncompetitive, so that's unlikely to be viable. But nonetheless, in China, which handles about 85% of our wool these days, they just can't handle or process the amount of wool that we have, and therefore they're not buying the wool, and therefore that price is still being held down around about the 13.23 cents for 21 micron. It was interesting discussion though. The percentage of our wool that is now below 19.5 micron, which is fine wool, you know, is increasing all the time, and I'm not quite sure why 21 micron is still the standard which we measure for value, because as our wool clip decreases, a higher percentage of it is now these very fine wools, Jamie.
Quad bike rollover laws came into effect on Monday, Freedom Day as well, but this might not necessarily mean freedom for some of the supplying companies. What I'm hearing, Yamaha, Honda and Suzuki pulling out of Australia. Why is that?
Yeah, well, they're just not prepared to make the changes that have been mandated to having, and I don't know why, because they're not that complicated. I went quad biking just a few weeks ago with the new, the roll bar, they call it, is really just a vertical stake sitting on where the tow bar would normally be on a quad bike. But nonetheless, those three companies have all said, no, we're not going to comply with the new rules, so they've withdrawn from Australia, Suzuki, Yamaha and Honda. But it is illegal now to sell, with a risk of a $500,000 fine, any bikes in Australia new which do not have roll bar fitted to this design standard. But it is still legal, of course, to use the old bikes, and there was a massive sale over the weekend, last weekend, of old stock of bikes without the roll bars fitted, as dealers dump their stocks. And I know a couple of mates of mine in the bush who ran around and bought a couple because they just don't want to have them. I don't understand the resistance, but there is resistance, and certainly all the studies out of Melbourne University which show that there hasn't been a single death on a quad bike from a quad bike with a roll bar fitted. So it seems to be pretty straightforward that that's what we should be doing.
Chris Russell, thanks for your time. Enjoy your stay in South Australia, however long that might be. Good luck getting home.
Yeah, no worries, Jamie.
Quarter away from 1 year with the country. Any update on the Blenheim sex workers?
No, but
not that I'm consumed or outraged by the story.
A lot of text feedback coming through saying, Jamie, perhaps it's time to reintroduce stocks in the village. Not the Blenheim sex workers who have let the mainland down simply by not using.
Commitment to excellence. Improved car, equipment or machinery performance with Gates Premium Belts, Hoses and Hydraulics. Available at local automotive stores including Napa Auto Parts, Ripco and Supercheap Auto. GatesAustralia.com.au. Driven by possibility.
Need a hand? Cryptocurrency, it can sound quite complicated, which is why having someone you can depend on to help is great, like Crossgate Capital, a specialist investor in cryptocurrencies. Crossgate Capital takes care of which cryptocurrencies to buy, storage reporting, and keeping track of this fast-moving market. A Kiwi company providing a familiar way to invest in crypto through shares. Think of them as the smart way to invest. Find out more, visit crossgatecapital.co.nz. The PDS is available at crossgatecapital.co.nz and on request. Crossgate Capital Limited is the issuer of the product.
All good, guys. I'm almost here in my destination. It's quite a half an hour drive. Thank you for being with me on my learning on driving on the other side of the road on a right-hand drive car. Migrating from the Philippines, so it's quite new. And plus, thank you for joining me on listening to New Zealand Kiwi accent. Not so sure if I talk the same way, but I'm sure learning from the Philippines, from an American English to converting to New Zealand International English, it's quite new. So thanks for the time, guys. Have a good day and keep safe always. See you soon. Bye.